you have any stories that you would like to share, either from your own experiences or with guests that had this mystic experience while receiving touch?
Yes, of course we have.
Because
that's why we speak of.
It's all about direct experience, not theory.
Well, I can start with myself because that's good. My first full body massage, I entered into that state, and that was why I began the practice of meditation and yoga and so on.
Yeah.
And that's the reason I returned to the massage many years later, because I remember that was the beginning point. So the process was pretty much as I described here. You begin to receive the touch all over your body, and the mind begins to, in the beginning it is judging, it is commenting, and it has all kind of things. At one point it begins to, okay, there is no really what to do because I have to stay here, and I actually have to do nothing, because when you receive a massage, there is nothing you can do than just to be open and receive. And when she's all over you and you are like overwhelmed by this touch, and at one point the mind gives up. It's like, okay. I can't comment on anything. Everything happened. I would get exhausted. I can't have opinion on everything, and then it gives up. And you are there. You're just in yourself. And in that moment, I was so relieved, because we have a lot of problems. We have a lot of things in our life, and in that moment, there are no problems. Suddenly, I mean, everything is as the usual are in your life, but you realize it's how you address them is the problem, not the problems so much. And then I had this experience of entering my heart, and from there to my soul, and plus in that experience came also the activation of this mysterious vital life force Kundalini that rises through the spine. And then I felt I'm just shining, like I'm becoming this shining love. But I must admit that at that point I didn't understand what was happening, because the mind was out of the picture and I had never experienced something like that. So that was a quite overwhelming experience of this mystic element of my own being, which I didn't know about. I have never heard about chakras or Kundalini or the soul even. I didn't have any relationship to what is this concept of soul. Mm-hmm. And suddenly I was there.
In your soul.
In this state of happiness without any reason, without objects. And it's actually not something very complicated. It's the most simple thing. The mind makes everything complicated. Then you come back and you begin to think about it, and you begin to make theories about it, which actually can block yourself to come back again, because now you make a mental concept around your own experience. Yeah. And I met many people which give testimonies after receiving massage of this experience of their own being beyond the mind. Some they testify that they felt like an empty vessel, and which was just filled with universal love constantly. They didn't even notice me. I was giving them massage. There were no really. They didn't even notice almost that I was there, because they just felt this universal love that was pouring into their vessel, which means their soul, and they had this journey into themselves.
So beautiful.
Yes, and it's something that is accessible to everyone, to all people, because we are built in the same way.
Yes, I feel the biggest blockage is actually that we are sure that this is something very far out of the daily reality.
Yeah.
But it's not like that, actually. We are always in the mystical. Our reality is very mystical, but it's just our perception, our focus that is disconnected from this reality. And when I came to the temple and received just before my first massage, actually, when I received the first massage, Ulrich, the leader of the temple, was telling me that yes, that some people even experience these states of cosmic orgasm, samadhi, and that this is totally possible. And I was like, like before I was thinking, yes, like it's physical massage, it's also very erotic, it's awakening of heart, etc. But to think of this, that it's actually very related to my experiences also in yoga and meditation, that you can get to the highest state of consciousness and that this is the reality that I should go for, was very inspiring. And then I think in my second massage, I was just like this in super intense state of rising of Kundalini also, and in the state of samadhi where I was just gone, like from my mind was gone, and I became this observer of what is happening in a very interesting way, because I felt my body very much, like everything pumping with energy and kind of these tingly sensations, and I felt as if my body just became light, weightless and pure light, and I was able to enjoy it fully, and at the same time just be an observer and kind of looking at myself down and being like, whoa, this is really happening. And at the same time feel completely still, and at the same time moving all around, and all these paradoxes that you can only experience when you're actually in the heart. The feeling of timelessness, infinity, just this gigantic love that is so beyond myself, what actually I'm capable of, because when you come in touch with this spark of divinity or God or whatever we can call it, it's like it's overwhelming. We're just bathing in this ocean of grace, I feel. And through that experience, I started realizing that this is very there. Like I don't have to do much, let's say. It's about, yes, it helps if you practice, let's say, yoga, meditation, or prayer, devotion, like Emanuel said. And I was somehow relating that very much to some spiritual people that I admire very much, like, for example, Teresa of Avila. She was a mystic in 14th century, etc. And she had this mystical experience of being a nun, of union with the divine in a very erotic way. And when I read about her autobiography and her writings, it's like it's the same feeling that I had in the Tantra massage, kind of. And I feel that it helps very much to be able to experience that yourself, because you can then transfer that also to guests, or not just transfer, but somehow ignite that spark. Because as I've observed, it's very much about the person also that is receiving being very open to what they can experience, but and it's also somehow a process of letting go of your mind. And like many people that come for the first time, also myself, start actually dealing with most basic issues with themselves that they have. Yeah, my body doesn't look like I want it to look, or I have so many thoughts, I'm stressed, etc. But then suddenly all this washes away, and you come faster in that connection with yourself, in that mental silence, to be able to open up your heart actually to that person who is also giving you massage, and to open up to the universe or something that is actually providing all these gifts. So in that sense, I feel that it helps very much when there is an experienced Tantra masseur who can initiate you in these states, because everyone has the capacity to also reach them by themselves. But especially in Tantra, this idea of initiation is very important, because it's actually an art that it's like impregnates you or gives you an impulse of certain states, certain reality that you don't experience in your daily life. It's like when you listen to an amazing piece of classical music, you suddenly feel something that you didn't feel in your daily life, like your heart is moved by some very fine nuances, and that actually serves as a help that you can go there more often. And in my guess, that's been such an amazing journey, because I've heard many stories how they come with an idea of what they want, and then through the massage, the more these erotic energy is awakened, especially like when their mind gives up, suddenly they just find themselves in states that they've never experienced before, and they keep returning. Slowly they learn how to get into these states, and I was very surprised how some people even come from this idea of just living a very normal daily life, totally disconnected, let's say, from these realities, that suddenly after the massage they were asking me, do you think that really God exists? And these questions that suddenly come out of the blue of some high reality. Yeah.
So I need to ask you a few questions, because you're using many words that I think are new for some people. So I'm gonna ask you, can we have a little quick round with questions of what does that mean? What does that mean? What does that mean? And we can get back to the stories. So what is samadhi?